potential for snowfall as we work our way into the weekend. Metro Atlanta now included in a winter storm warning.
Plus, still more questions than answers surrounding the FBI search of a Fulton County elections hub. What county leaders are telling voters and what comes next. And no Senate vote last night to stop a partial government shutdown. This as nationwide tensions rise after federal agents shot an ICU nurse in Minneapolis. Well, now the administration's border czar is in Washington. Hi, thank you so much for joining us here on 11Alive Plus at 12:30. I'm Faith Jesse, and we start with this bitter cold and snow coming to our area. We are now under a state of emergency declared by Governor Brian Kemp. We want to bring in meteorologist Nicole Hartford, who is tracking it all for us. Nicole, we know you have a closer look at what is happening here, how long this could last. 2 weekends in a row now.
Yes, we've had 2 weekends of what will be some impactful winter weather across North Georgia. This weekend, though, thankfully, we're not talking ice. We're just talking that potential for snowfall. Now, it's kind of twofold when it comes to our risks this weekend. The first one is going to be those showers, snow showers that move in late tonight and into tomorrow, leading to accumulating snowfall. Second is going to be some dangerously cold air as we get through the day on Saturday and into Sunday morning. So you need to get ready for what will be kind of a blustery and at times a snowy weekend across North Georgia. Those snow showers will begin to move in late tonight and into tomorrow morning. They're going to focus really on our eastern counties, which is where we'll see higher snow accumulation totals, but that will push as far west as the metro as well. So this will lead to slippery roads, kind of icy roads as we go throughout early Saturday morning and then throughout the day on Saturday, and then will take us into kind of a pipe bursting cold as we get into Sunday morning. So those frigid temperatures will keep us below freezing for the bulk of the weekend. There will be spots that do not climb back above freezing until early next week. On top of that, we've got that potential for some snowfall. Right now is the time where you can kind of make your preps. I would say just make sure to stay off the roads late tonight and into tomorrow. Temperatures at this point are mild. We're in the 40s across Metro Atlanta. Lots of sunshine. Things will start to deteriorate overnight tonight. We'll begin building in some cloud cover late this evening with those snow showers possible into far north Georgia as early as this evening and late tonight. Faith?
Nicole, thank you so much. Her whole team really working hard. You know who else is working hard? The Georgia Department of Transportation, hard at work. Crews bringing out all that brine, that salt out there on the roads in the sand. Georgia's electric membership corporations are preparing for this wintry weather and the chance for any power outages. Georgia's EMCs tell us that crews are ensuring that line trucks are fueled up and ready to travel safely in snowy conditions. You can stay with us here on 11Alive Plus for all of the latest updates. Well, now to some more of your headlines. 2 days after the FBI served a search warrant at Fulton County's elections hub, removing hundreds of boxes from the 2020 ballots. Fulton County residents, they're demanding answers from this. That raid has sparked new questions about transparency, election records, and what comes next as the country prepares for the 2026 midterms. 11Alive's Ariana Manise has more on what people are saying.
Voters told county leaders they want transparency and clarity after the FBI seized 700 boxes of material from the Fulton County Elections Hub and Operations Center. In a town hall hosted by Fulton County Commissioner Mo Ivory, many of those residents voiced their concerns, many asking why the FBI executed a search warrant and what exactly was taken. In warrants obtained by 11Alive, we're learning the FBI seized all records related to the 2020 election in Fulton County, including all physical ballots from the election, tabulator tapes, ballot images, and voter rolls. But county officials say all of that material has already been reviewed multiple times following fraud allegations tied to that election. Commissioner Ivory was inside the elections facility when agents carried out the search and says the raid could raise questions about election safety for this year's election.
It was very tense. It was disturbing that here we are and this president is trying to again sow the seeds of chaos and crisis in order to disrupt what we're preparing for right now, which is the 2026 midterm elections.
Not everyone is against that FBI raid. One Republican member from the election board says some of the same materials that the FBI sees are some of the same ones that the board subpoenaed for, and they plan to confirm with the agency to see if they have those documents. Reporting from Fulton County, I'm Ariana Manise for 11Alive.
Meanwhile, Congresswoman Nikema Williams is raising alarm. Last night, appearing on CNN, she called the search unprecedented and demanded answers about what was taken and why as this year's midterm elections approach.
What I'm concerned about is what are they going to do with this data? Where did they take these 700 pallets of elections data that they removed yesterday in this FBI raid? What judge issued the warrant? Why was that warrant issued? And now what happens?
Williams says she formally requested answers as part of her congressional oversight role and warns that this raid could have broader implications for election confidence nationwide. Again, federal authorities have not yet released details about the warrant or the scope of this investigation. New at midday, we want to head outside and take a live look at I-285 southbound in Cobb County. You can see still very slow there. Major delays continuing while GDOT road crews conduct emergency bridge work. We did take some drone video earlier. We were the only crew on scene all morning. The crew repairing a large hole that opened up in the right lanes of I-285 southbound on the Chattahoochee River Bridge. That is just below South Cobb Drive exit 15. Now, GDOT had originally hoped that the lanes would open by early this afternoon, but as we just showed you there, that is not the case. There are miles of backup still as that left lane is open. That's the only lane open right now on I-285 southbound, and there is extra traffic as drivers are seeking alternate routes. Do not come in this area if you don't have to. Try to find an alternative route. Stay with 11Alive for updates. When that opens back up, we'll let you know. This midday, 11Alive is digging into disturbing new discovery of human trafficking operation at Atlantic Station, allegedly run from behind bars at the Fulton County Jail. 11Alive's Cody Alcorn, he found out about this year-long operation by digging through jail records. Here's more on that story you'll only see right here on 11Alive.
On Thursday, Aziz Balamani was booked into the Fulton County Jail, the same facility where this warrant alleges he helped run a human trafficking operation for this man, Jamel Ellis, known on the streets as Prince.
It's everywhere. It is a worldwide epidemic.
The operation dates as far back as 2022. Police say it involved multiple women who were bought and sold for sex in Midtown at an address tied to Atlantic Station, using money and power to keep the women from leaving, something an APD investigator told us recently is common.
Traffickers prey on the most vulnerable people in our community, people who oftentimes feel like they have no one to trust and nowhere to turn.
Investigators say once Ellis got locked up in 2024, he recruited Balamani to keep the operation going. While Ellis called the shots, police say Balamani continued to target vulnerable victims and found ways to increase their profits.
It has now gone into a $1 trillion business worldwide.
Just this one operation, carried out right next to a popular tourist spot in the city, was ran from the county's own jail. It involved multiple buyers and sellers along with an unknown number of victims. And as the city prepares to host the FIFA World Cup, welcoming people from around the world, this case highlights an epidemic already plaguing our city, state, and country.
APD will have a highly visible presence in all of our entertainment districts, hotels, transit hubs, and right here at the world's most efficient airport. Officers will continue that coordination, working with our federal and state partners to make sure the welcome mat is removed for everyone.
Cody Alcorn, 11Alive News.
And January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month. Right now, law enforcement across Metro Atlanta are working with state and federal partners on a human trafficking initiative as the city prepares to host several World Cup matches. Coming up here, deadlock in Washington as lawmakers miss another shutdown vote. We also coming up, the latest on the federal immigration agents in Minneapolis and efforts to calm protests after the fatal shooting of a local ICU nurse. Plus, a major milestone in global health, guinea worm cases dropped to an all-time low. How the Carter Center is bringing the disease to the brink of eradication.
A weather impact alert as we gear up for bitter cold air, as well as the potential for accumulating snowfall into the weekend. Right now, it's hard to imagine the cold air that is about to arrive. Temperatures are close to 50 degrees in Atlanta, but as you go up towards the north, we're down into the teens through portions of Ohio into Illinois, New York, and all that cold Arctic air is going to be sinking southward throughout the course of the overnight tonight and into tomorrow as well. That Arctic air arrives by tomorrow night, bringing some of our coldest temperatures of the season so far, a dangerous cold for many by Sunday morning. At the same time, we've got an area of low pressure that's going to be bringing in moisture from the Atlantic, leading to snow showers along the East Coast, including here in North Georgia. With the anticipation of accumulating snowfall, there are winter storm warnings in effect, stretching from the Atlanta metro up through the Carolinas and into Virginia. We've got those winter storm warnings in place tonight through early Sunday morning, and in those locations highlighted in pink, that's where accumulating snow of anywhere from about 1 to 3 inches is expected. This will lead to some slippery, slick roads, potentially some icy roads as we go throughout the day on Saturday. Out towards the west of the city, there's also winter weather advisories in place down towards the south as well. In these locations, we still could see impacts from some snow showers, even some accumulating snowfall, but it's not likely to be quite as much snow as what's anticipated through those winter storm warnings. So here's how the timeline plays out across North Georgia. That colder air starts to push in tonight and into tomorrow. A few isolated snow showers will start to develop and winds will pick up. Throughout much of the day tomorrow, we're talking sustained winds of about 10 to 20 miles per hour, with gusts of up to about 40 miles per hour. Isolated snow showers will kick off late tonight. They'll become more widespread into early Saturday morning and continue on and off throughout the day on Saturday. Actual air temperatures through much of the day in the 20s for the metro, with wind chill value in the teens. So anything that does fall is going to stick pretty quickly. Last weekend, we still had mild air, mild ground temperatures, whereas with this event, we're anticipating anything that falls to stick pretty quickly, which will lead to slick and icy roads throughout the morning hours on Saturday. By Sunday, any snow has come to an end. We return to sunshine, but colder air really takes over. We've got an extreme cold warning in place for Sunday morning, with morning wind chill values below 0 in many spots. Here's how our forecast track plays out our snow showers hour by hour. So cloud cover will start to build in throughout the rest of the day today. By 9 o'clock this evening, a couple isolated showers will start to develop into far north Georgia. So we could start to see impacts there as early as tonight. Those showers will steadily sink down towards the south through the overnight hours. So our window for snow throughout much of metro Atlanta and North Georgia really starts to open up around 2 or 3 a.m. This will continue sinking southward, becoming more widespread. Notice a lot of that snowfall focuses on our eastern counties, whereas out towards the west of the city, we're talking isolated snow showers at best at this point. Our forecast track continues to bring those snow showers, pushing them eastward as the day progresses on Saturday. So by about lunchtime, things are winding down through the metro, whereas off towards East Georgia, there's still locations seeing accumulating and at times very heavy snowfall. We could see blowing snow as well, which could limit visibility throughout the day on Saturday. That all clears out Saturday night and into Sunday morning. We're back to sunshine and we're left with that cold air. When it comes to snow totals, it does look like the highest totals are going to be up towards the northeast of the city. At this point through metro Atlanta, I think the most likely scenario is that we pick up about 1 to 2 inches of accumulation. Off towards the west side of the city into portions of South Fulton County, we could see flurries to about a dusting. And then the highest totals expected are off towards the north and the east, where widespread totals of about 2 to 4 inches are expected. And there could be some spots that pick up even more than that. I'm talking maybe 5, even 6 inches of snow accumulation, but those locally higher totals will likely be kind of few and far between. The other story is the cold air. So we're going to stay in the 20s all day on Saturday with feels like temperatures in the teens and single digits. By Sunday morning, we drop down into the teens with feels like temperatures below 0 in a lot of spots. That is a dangerous cold, a pipe bursting cold. Because of that, we do have extreme cold warnings that are going to be in place across all of North Georgia late Saturday night through early Sunday morning. That's when we're anticipating that coldest air. A lot of spots will not get above freezing on Sunday. Temperatures stay cold into the start of the week, but by Monday afternoon, highs are rebounding back up into the mid 40s. We're back into the 50s by Tuesday and Wednesday.
Journalist and former CNN anchor Don Lemon was taken into custody Thursday night in Los Angeles. The arrest is tied to an anti-ICE protest earlier this month at a church in Minneapolis where demonstrators rushed inside, disrupting a church service there. Lemon was covering the incident. His attorney says he was there as a journalist, not as a protester. And his attorney is also calling the arrest an attack on the First Amendment. But Justice Department officials say that Lemon had no right to be on private church property and may have interfered with worshipers' religious rights. President Donald Trump says he plans to nominate Kevin Marsh to the Federal Reserve Board and as the next chair of the central bank. Trump made this announcement in a social media post this morning, saying that he has known Marsh for a very long time. He believes that he would be a great Fed chair. Now, if confirmed by the Senate, Warsh would take over for current chair Jerome Powell. His term ends in May. Warsh has years of experience serving at the central bank. He served as the Federal Reserve Board from 2006 to 2011. Well, no Senate vote overnight to stop a partial government shutdown, even after word of a deal. Meanwhile, the administration's borders law, Tom Homan, spoke publicly in Minneapolis days after the fatal shooting of ICU nurse Alex Preddy by federal immigration agents. Homan says that he is working to de-escalate tensions. NBC's Alice Barr has more from Washington.
Shutdown struggles re-emerging on Capitol Hill as overnight a plan to fast-track a government funding vote hit a snag in the Senate, with at least one senator objecting, just hours after President Trump announced a deal had been reached.
We've gotten along very well. We're working on trying to get it to stay open.
5 sources say the plan was to pass a chunk of government funding while splitting off the Department of Homeland Security and taking 2 weeks to negotiate immigration enforcement reforms Democrats are demanding, including ending roving raids and no agents in masks. Bipartisan lawmakers have signaled a willingness to negotiate.
To make sure that we rein in ICE appropriately and make it more professional.
Congress must stop them.
President Trump overnight appearing to shift course again on his administration's response in Minneapolis, asked if immigration enforcement agents would soon start pulling out.
No, not at all.
That after earlier in the day, his border czar, Tom Homan, said this.
My main focus now is drawdown.
Adding that reducing federal manpower in the city depends on cooperation with state and local law enforcement for more targeted migrant removals, focusing in jails and prisons.
The mission is going to improve.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry in Washington pressing for a full federal pullout and an overhaul of officer conduct as his city reels from this month's deadly shootings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy.
People can see with their own eyes how the funding for ICE is being utilized right now, and it's not creating safety in our communities, it's causing chaos.
In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Yeah, so even if the Senate reaches a government funding deal before tonight's midnight shutdown deadline, it still has to go back to the House. And members, they aren't in Washington right now, those House members. So a brief weekend shutdown likely wouldn't cause major disruptions, but that time is tight. Transportation funding is on the line and raising the chance of more airport delays if lawmakers do not act quickly. Happening today, students across Metro Atlanta school districts continue to walk out of class in protest of President Trump's immigration policies. You're taking a look at video from yesterday. This was at Chamblee High School, students walking out there. Today, walkouts are planned for Hillgrove, Locust Grove, and Osborne High Schools. Concussions in young children can be easy to miss, and that can mean longer lasting symptoms. Straight ahead, we have new research that shows why these injuries are often overlooked. Well, there is encouraging news in the fight against a centuries-old disease. Just 10 human cases of guinea worm were reported worldwide in 2025, the lowest number ever recorded. And the Carter Center announced this milestone on the one-year anniversary of the passing of the center's founder, that's former U.S. President Jimmy Carter. And since taking on the effort in 1986, the center and its partners have helped cut cases by more than 99%, bringing guinea worm to the brink of becoming the second human disease ever eradicated. Well, concussions can disrupt normal brain function and aren't always easy to spot, especially in young children. If they're missed, early symptoms can last longer than they should. Mandy Gaither, she speaks with the lead author of new research showing how concussion symptoms in kids are often overlooked.
They're often linked to car crashes or contact sports, but concussions can happen to anyone, even young children.
The vast majority of young kids preschool age are injured just in falls.
Dr. Sean Rose with Nationwide Children's Hospital says because young children don't always have the words to share their symptoms, concussions are often missed or misdiagnosed. And he says because of that, about 1 in 4 children younger than 6 years old who suffer a concussion will develop prolonged symptoms.
We need to correctly diagnose a concussion and make sure that there's appropriate time for the brain to heal before going back into activities that might put you at risk for another injury.
Rose is lead author of a new paper which found that when children between the ages of 0 to 6 years old suffer a concussion, it can lead to symptoms like behavioral changes, excessive irritability, appetite changes, decreased socialization, stomach aches, and increased dependence or clinginess.
These symptoms can affect their daily lives. They can affect participation in things like daycare or school if they're in school at that point. They can also affect parent-child interactions.
Rose says anytime a concussion is suspected, see a doctor because identifying symptoms early can help the child avoid long-term problems.
If these are not instituted early on, then symptoms can often continue longer than they typically would.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Yeah, so researchers say that they are trying to figure out the best way to treat these symptoms, whether it's through pain management or changes to daily activities. Stay with us. We'll be right back.